But in Hong Kong, because there are still many travel arrangers or secretary, so the big boss of the traveler, they make use of service by others. So they're quite demanding and on the human service. They don't like to do the booking by themselves, and also the arranger as well, they don't like to do the booking by themselves to avoid any mistakes.
I'm Chika Eloy, and this is a conversation designed for BCD people with BCD people. On this show, we're running through the diverse cultures of talent at BCD Travel, and we're showcasing our most confident self-colleagues. So come on, let's go have some fun as we explore the different functions, spaces, faces, and the complexities across our world of BCD.
Well, here we are back again, and I'm talking to Mr. William Lam, one of my favorite folks, all the way from... Are you in Hong Kong today, William?
Yeah, in Hong Kong.
Why don't I give you the microphone and you explain to us what is it that you do at BCD, and then I'd love to dive into this infamous market that we're hearing so much about.
Oh, okay. Actually, I'm the National Program Manager in BCD Hong Kong. Actually, my main role is to take care of our corporate client in an account management perspective, and also working with the operation team to resolve all the issues raised by our client as well. At the same time, also managing the P&L and also the travel program of our corporate client in Hong Kong.
Very cool. And how big a team do we have in our Hong Kong office?
For program management, now we have 6 program manager and with director of account management. In total, with operation team and also technology team and some back office, we have around 110 people
Woo!
In Hong Kong.
Wow.
Whole Hong Kong team.
That's a big team out there. And so, William, how long have you been with BCD now?
Almost 5 years. A few
Okay.
days later will be 5 years.
We're just away from your 5-year anniversary. So I'm really curious, and when we spoke offline, William, we were talking a little bit about the market out there. Could you give our listeners an understanding of what is happening out there in the Hong Kong market? What do you see the impact now being in APAC from Hong Kong, China, whole of APAC perspective?
Yeah, actually, in Hong Kong, I would say the people is quite demanding on the human service. It doesn't like US that the traveler will manage their booking or by themselves. They make use of the online booking tools. They would like to make their booking by themselves. But in Hong Kong, because there are still many travel arrangers or secretary, so the big boss of the traveler, they make use of service by others. So they're quite demanding and on the human service. They don't like to do the booking by themselves, and also the arranger as well, they don't like to do the booking by themselves to avoid any mistakes. So I would say in Hong Kong, we are quite rely on the human touch that compare with US and also compare with China as well. Because in China, I would say the technology now is even more intelligent than Hong Kong. They are the people in China, they make use of the online booking tools, even more innovated on the payment process. That this area is much better than Hong Kong. Yeah, although you can see Hong Kong is very like a modern country, but
Yes.
on the culture rise or on the technology rise, it seems not that innovated than China. Yeah.
Sure. No, that's a really neat perspective there, William. I know that we as a company at BCD hear these words digital transformation quite often. But from what I just heard you there say, the culture or the client that you're dealing with is asking agents to book it because they don't they don't trust the technology, or they don't want to rely on technology, or they just don't want to do it themselves?
Yeah, I would say one of the important thing is that they don't, to some time, they don't trust on the technology. For example, for the payment, you know that in China, Now every people is holding their mobile phone to pay everything. The food, shopping, transportation, they're just using their mobile app to pay everything. But in Hong Kong people, they are still using the credit card. Cash is quite common in Hong Kong. One of the problem is that they don't trust the technology. They try to avoid any fraud case, or they still quite concerned on the personal data. So that's why they are still using cash all the times, and also credit card as well. But in China, that is very common to use the mobile app to settle all the payment.
Wow.
Yeah, and the other thing is, of course, because the people, when they're doing the online shopping or online booking, that means they need to bear their responsibility. The liability is on themselves. So they would like to put that liability to the agent instead of themselves, especially for those secretary when they are arranging the booking for the traveler.
William, who is your leader in Hong Kong? Who is your BCD leader?
Debbie Chen.
Okay, great. Debbie.
Debbie Chen is my direct report, who is the director of program management. Of course, we have Lily Aganoy, who is
Lily,
managing director in Hong Kong.
So, and then you've got Jonathan that's over China, correct?
Yeah, Jonathan is sitting in Shanghai, oversee China and Hong Kong as well.
So here's a question that I've often heard, and maybe this is a little off track to talking about program management, but could you explain for our listeners that maybe don't have insight into the Asia kind of, I don't want to say politics, but what's the relationship between China and Hong Kong? What's the history, and where do you see that sitting now? Is Hong Kong part of China? Is it separate from China? Could you explain that just in layman's terms to our listeners?
The culture and the country is also independent, because for the law, for the government laws, and also for the culture, is totally different for Hong Kong and China. For the law as well, we have our own law in Hong Kong, and China, of course, have their own law. Although Hong Kong is part of China, but we are using different policy, different laws.
Got it. Okay, cool. So when you sit in Hong Kong in the Hong Kong office, you're obviously part of the big APAC region, William. Yeah. From your perspective in Hong Kong, how does the Hong Kong, or what value is Hong Kong and China bringing to the overall APAC region of India, Australia, Singapore? How is China and Hong Kong impacting the APAC market?
I would say because for Hong Kong, I would say Hong Kong is quite important commercial area in APAC. So most of the travel managers, or most of the headquarters of the company based in Hong Kong. So I think that that Hong Kong is one of the important role in the APAC. So for most of the for the commercial of the company or the companies. For China, of course, because China is growing very fast now in the world, I would say, not only in the APAC. So, and even though after I heard that after a few years or many years, China will be even though be the lead of the travel market, then the travel volume will be more than US.
Wow.
So I can see that the contribution of China will have a much contribution to the APAC market, of course, to our regional market as well. So in Hong Kong, because we are now, I would say, although we are working quite independently or individually, but we are more close to the China market. And with now we have Jonathan to oversee both China and Hong Kong. I would see moving forward, there will be more connection, or the strategy-wise will be more or the less the same moving forward. Although at this moment, I can see that still working quite independently.
And William, is there a particular client that we, or an industry of client that sits in Hong Kong, or is it just a mix of a lot of different companies?
Yeah, a lot of different kind in
Okay.
Hong Kong,
Okay.
around the world. Yeah.
So, William, what is your background in the travel industry, or were you part of the travel industry before you came to BCD?
Yeah, actually, previously, before in BCD, I worked in American Express, the Centurion Card area. So that I'm the uh, one of the member in travel and lifestyle department. And before that, I worked in GPT, yeah, for 2 years.
Okay.
So yeah, after that I moved to BCD for now almost 5 years. So what I can see, what I can feel the difference is BCD is more like a family, working like a family,
Hmm.
but it's not that close family. Yeah, we are trying to work like a family. But actually, the relationship between the people, what I'm talking now is in Hong Kong because
Yes, yes, of course.
so far I'm working in Hong Kong. So it's we are trying to work like a family, but the relationship is not that level yet. I can feel. So what I can because at the very beginning in the BCD, I just one of the teammate of the program management, and then I was promoted to the supervisor, and
Hmm.
then now the managers.
Wow.
So I'm now the second in charge of the team. So one of the responsibility that after I promoted, I can feel that I need to do something to make the change or make the team or the uh, BCD Hong Kong much better than before, especially on the connection of the people. That is
Ah, and
something I want
that's
to
what I
do.
love to hear. I love to hear that people
Yeah,
are thinking about connecting other people. That's awesome, William.
yeah. Because I think that the relationship is can be better. Yeah, we can be better. I think that they are friendly. All the people are friendly. Then why don't come up together? Is that they don't have time, or the company they don't the company itself doesn't provide the
Mm,
opportunity
mm.
or the environment to the team to group together. Yeah, even though in my Pecan, I have raised some opinion to the management as well. One of my opinion is saying that in Hong Kong, we have two pantries, but we don't have any tables there. So we have
Ah, I
our
see.
lunch.
And for those listeners that don't know what a pantry is, it's the cupboards where you keep the food, correct?
Yeah, yeah, we
So you've
eat
got a
on our
kitchen
own
and a
deck.
pantry, but nowhere to eat anything together.
Yeah, yeah, we don't have a area that the people can sometimes can chit chat there. So even during the lunchtime, they have their lunch in their own decks.
Mm.
So that is one of the thing that I can think about
Changing.
how we can do better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that for all of our listeners, the encouragement we've been talking through with a lot of these podcasts now is to act like an owner. So my challenge to you, William, is what are you going to do to make sure that there's a table there tomorrow, or encouraging that even further. So no, that's great. So William, I want to wrap up our conversation because I value your time and I know that you're about to start a very busy day. So we finish our podcast every week, William, with 5 questions, 5 random questions from Chica to William, that you just do your best to answer as quickly as possible. Okay? So here is
Yeah.
your first question, William. Who was the last person you sent a text message to today?
Today, because now it's 9 a.m. something already.
You may not have even. What about yesterday then?
Maybe yesterday. Yeah. Yesterday, to be honest, is my one of my teammates.
Good, good. Question number 2, William. Your favorite song to sing to at a karaoke bar?
Mhm. Oh, okay, okay. In the car, okay. I would say it's Mayday, who is the bank of Taiwan.
William, what is the weirdest thing that you have eaten in 2019? The weirdest thing that you've eaten in 2019?
Strangest food lah.
Yeah, Kanawa.
Uh, I can imagine it's just the beef noodle last night
Okay.
because the taste is quite dark and quite strange because that restaurant I have been that restaurant for many times, but last night when I have beef noodle, I when I smell it, the
Uh-oh.
The smell is something different.
I was
But
really counting on you telling me it was pig's feet
really.
and had dim sum. And then the fourth question I have for you is: do you love or do you not like roller coasters? Roller coasters.
Yeah, I like.
Okay, good. Final question for you, William. You said before that you love working at BCD because of the people. What else do
Yeah.
you love about working at BCD for?
The environment make me feel quite relaxed, or the working style is quite relaxed. And because for both the workplace, and also I would say the management style as well, then that is related to people as well.
That's awesome.
Because the people here is quite supportive to their employee to have their own working style, and also they accept different feedback and opinion. Yeah, and also in BCD Hong Kong, I would say the management is providing quite many opportunity for people to learn different things.
And to all of our listeners, if you have not been hyped from listening to William brag about how good his team is, how much he loves the people, I hope that is for you too. Before we leave, William, can you please sing for us your favorite karaoke song in Cantonese, you said? Or at least two lines.
你不是真正的快乐，你不是真正的要我在呢。
Yeah! William Lam, Hong Kong's Got Talent. Forget about it. Thank you for bringing us home, and we will see everybody next week.
Thank you, Chika. That is the most interesting part.
That just happened. Hong Kong's Got Talent, and it comes in the form of William Lam. You know, listeners, we have actually crossed 3,000 downloads now on this podcast, so I'm super stoked, because what that means is it's accomplishing our goal that our people at BCD can continue to inform and educate and school each other on the world of BCD. It is such a complex world. It is so intricate, with so many folds that cross each other, and some folds that you never knew existed before. So as you continue to listen and download and share these podcasts, please continue to send in your ideas. If you know somebody, or if you feel that you're somebody that would love to sit in the chair of a guest, feel free to reach out to me. And if you have an interesting idea or project or piece of work you'd now love to share with the world of BCD through a roundtable style discussion, or if you're about to blow my mind and talk to us about a way that we can host the podcast where you can join and it's different than what we've done in the past. We're all about innovation. We're digitally transforming ourselves. So let's continue as we run through this world of BCD, schooling each other on what we do and how we live our confident selves. We'll see you next week.